to expand your mind and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody, welcome. I apologize for us being on a later start today. Thank you so much. There are just some days that you wake up and you do all the prep work in the world. And then have you ever had this happen? You hit a button on your computer, just like you normally would, and it gives you a break in the action. This is the perfect metaphor for our show today, because today's show is about consistency is your key to success with Mary Jane Mack, my practitioner, friend, colleague, and all of the above. If you don't know who Mary Jane Mack is, go to maryjanemack.com. That's very easy to kind of remember that, right? It's better than Basili, don't you think? But if you go there, you're going to find out about who she is. At a very young age, she was a registered nurse. Her commitment was to people and healing and helping. Now she is one of the leading practitioners on holistic wealth, holistic intuition, wellness coach, nutrition, and all of the above. But there's one thing we're talking about today that crosses all of those thresholds. Consistency is your key to success. And the one consistency we're not going to talk about today, or maybe, is worry. Mary Jane, great to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here.
I'm sorry. I apologize for the late start. That was the most bizarro thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I know that happens to all of us. And it's like
living a life by design.
And then, we're living in this technical world now, and we're so dependent on it. All you need to do is not understand what you need to do. But consistency is also important. It's important in everything we do. But for you, give us a sense of what you've discovered over your years of doing this work. Is consistency the game changer?
Absolutely. I mean, consistency, you get success. Inconsistency, you get wishy-washy, no results.
I had another word for it, but Benny would not want me to say it on air.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate that.
And today that is exactly what we encourage and we tell people from the very beginning. It's about being consistent with your path to wellness and you'll be successful. It's about following the plan and getting back to exercise and looking at your life and when you make the change, stick to the plan. And it's not that complicated if you keep your goal in mind and know where you're going. Keep your eye on the prize.
I got to ask you about this. It sounds so easy. Then why don't we do it?
We get distracted. It's easier to just fall apart and do what we used to do and not pay attention. It's like being on a diet. Well, today I'm just going to go off of it for one day. Or like your wellness program, you're going to follow it and you do things, you take your supplements, you do everything you're supposed to, you're exercising. And then pretty soon you don't keep in, what I say is when I see people, it's about staying in touch indefinitely. It's not a temporary program. It's not a program to get you out of a crisis. Most people feel when they're out of pain and out of being uncomfortable, then they're better. And actually, it's just the beginning. That once we get you out of the crisis, now is when you start your real path to wellness. And that is about being consistent, making the dedication to calling regularly. Like I have clients that started with me in 1992. And
wow.
they're either, and they are faithful, they're either on a, usually a 3-month program is what they graduate to. And every 3 months they check in, unless they have an issue, they call sooner. So then we nail it before it becomes a major problem, and then we have to start all over. Some people, they call every month, and what they say is, I'm not giving up my Mary Jane fix, and I want to call every month. And they feel good. They like staying on target. If they get off track a little, we make a change in their course and they're back on track. But it's never a major deal to get back on track. It's little things.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. And this has been sort of the behavioral conundrum all along the way. You provide people with very specific nutritional solutions. And I want to tell everybody, if you want to know what you need, 1-800-930-2819, give us a call. But you say, here's your plan. Do this. This is where you are today. Your gallbladder is really scoring a 1 or whatever that is. If you take this, I want you to take it 3 times a day, ... Even with all that help, it is like pulling a tooth sometimes for all of us to sit down, get our little Monday through Sunday little thing out and put the appropriate nutrition in there so it's ready every day. It's something that is almost, you have to do it, but there's a consistency of not doing it as well as doing it, right? You got these two things working all along. Don't you have to change a habit here?
Oh, if you don't change, I can't help you. It's just that simple.
Hello, Linda.
Yeah, if you're when people come in, I want people to be serious and they're really ready to get on track and do what they need to do. And if they're not ready to do that, I can't help them. They're not going to help. And it's not, when I test people, it's their body that tells me what they need. So I'm never overloading people with nutrition. I'm giving them what their body can tolerate, because some people aren't used to taking pills. And the products I use are Biotics Research products, top of the line supplements that actually repair the body and get it back to peak function. So when I test people, sometimes they could have all kinds of major problems, but they only need a small amount of nutrition. And that's because that's all their body can tolerate. And so that's why we know that if you take this, we have predictable results. In so many days, we score everything from 0 to 10. In so many days, those numbers should change. If they don't change, there's either something else wrong or they're not taking the nutrition. And I can always tell if you're doing it or not. It's not, because your body will tell me.
Well, I want to give you a perfect example, right? For whatever reason, and I have no good excuse, I am just like all y'all out there. I don't know what you may think of me or Mary Jane or Benny or anybody, but we're just like you in that we have to go through the same things y'all go through in order for you to know, I've got to line this up and this is what's going to help me. And then you miss it. So I missed a week last week, and it's a ridiculous reason. Now, what's the reason? Linda usually does the pills, but why couldn't I do the pills? And they're not pills, the nutrition. Linda lays out all of her nutrition from the food, I do the food. But then you have a week like last week and you don't do it. I didn't do it. And you feel it. And so what does that look like? There are things that affect your body, but it's not just your body. You're providing solutions, Mary Jane, to the body, to the mind, to our spirit. You're providing those solutions. We know what they are and what is the consequence of missing a week. Hence the title for the show, Frequency. I'll tell you what it is. You come apart. And look, how many of you out there, when I say come apart, let me just give you an example. It doesn't have to be a ridiculously Jack Nicholson come apart. Benny knows what I mean. It could be something simple, like maybe you're taking your children to school Well, school's out, but maybe you're taking children to a park, or now you're getting ready for this weekend. And little Bobby knocks the milk over. See, that was my number one thing as a kid. I was always knocking a glass of milk over. And that little spill of milk, right, which you can pick up with a paper towel or a cloth, but that is the one thing that flips you over. And then you realize, wow, I didn't take my nutritional protocol this week. What do you think about that?
The other thing that happens is that besides being irritable, they're tired, they have fatigue. When you're in a crisis at the early stages and you don't take your nutrition for a week, you slip backwards, you go the other way. So it's about, how do you feel? And is that the way you want your life to be? Taking the supplements is not that complicated. And I always tell people, it's always better when you do it yourself, because then you are responsible. If somebody's fixing it for you, like I have, sometimes people want to do it for their husbands and fix it for them. I say, that doesn't work. They have to want to do it, and they have to do it themselves. Like little kids, I can understand you setting it up and helping them with it. That's different. But I have kids that are better and more consistent than adults.
I think I thought about this before the show, Mary Jane, and I had a theory about this, why kids are better, because I think here's one idea, and this is not the truth. So I'm just telling you all out right now. But we have this idea that children look at their future. They look at their life. Little 8-year-old Mary or Jimmy or Bobby, whoever you are, or Jamal, each of you are looking at your lives and you're saying, oh my gosh, I got to get ready for this game. Oh my gosh, I've got a future. Something happens to us as we start to get older. And I don't mean like older, like I'm not talking 90. I'm talking like something happens at 40. And especially for women, where all of a sudden they just don't see the future as bright as before. So why should I do this? The answer is because if you don't, you are going to feel like miserable, right?
And the other part of that is they don't do it because there's something out of balance in their body. They've lost the motivation because their brain could be tired. They could be tired from a gallbladder and bile duct issue. So when your body gets back and goes into a low frequency, that's how you perform. So whenever you're in that situation and you don't want to do it, you don't care, it's because you're so out of balance. Yeah. You're like in a very low frequency. In order to change that, you need a kickstart. You need to get going. And in our office, we have technology that offers people a kickstart. Yeah. Instead of taking weeks for everything to kick in sometimes, we use the Wellness Pro, the Resumex, and the StimPod. Get people going quickly and cut the time for them being in that crisis so they could get to where they want to be faster and then learn how to maintain it. It's so much fun using our technology.
It's amazing.
The difference in people. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I want to say with Mary Jane Mack, one of the things most of you know that when the pandemic hit, COVID-19, Mary Jane Mack was right there for you on Zoom all the way and helped many, many people, including myself, including Linda, including people around me. And I want to talk about what you just said right now. There's technology, but there's also your area of expertise. So this is the one thing I want to point out, and hopefully you can help. Sometimes without the proper guidance, we throw everything at ourselves. But you pinpoint. Now, let me go to this one thing, and I'm not going to mention the device because I'm going to get it wrong. But the day that I came in, and yes, you can go into Mary Jane Mack's Issaquah office, like literally right down the road from Benny. But one day I came in and you said, I want to do your feet. I want to put your feet, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to explain that process, because when I was done, I felt amazing. So can you explain that?
Well, we have the Wellness Pro Plus, and what that does is it's a frequency machine that works at the cellular level to heal your body. It's good for any condition, also very good for any pain and inflammation, for gallbladder, for any issue. That's why when people come in, if we use the Wellness Pro along with the nutrition, we have faster results. But when we use the Wellness Pro, there's cylinders you hold in your hand. That works on the upper body, the waist up. When we put the cylinders on the feet, that works for everything from the waist down. Now, the other beauty of the Wellness Pro is if you have an injury, if you have a trauma, you fell, you hurt yourself, broken knee, any kind of injury, we could put these pads on the injury. Say you have a knee, swollen knee. We could put them on your feet, or we could just wrap it around your knee. And after a few first session, you're going to be dramatically better. The inflammation will be decreased. And once you have that treatment, it works for 32 hours afterwards. But I can get people out of major injuries in a short time using the Wellness Pro and our Stim Pod. But it's all about healing the body at the cellular level, getting to exactly what the cause is. And with what I do, the muscle testing, I'm able to pinpoint exactly where you need the treatment and which treatment you need, because it scores perfect for you. And again, putting the whole program together, the nutrition, the technology, we have great results.
Mary Jane, what have you found in your years of doing this is one of the greatest challenges for people? What have you found? Is it that consistency factor?
The greatest challenge is knowing that most people think once they're out of pain and they start to feel better, that they're well. So they don't have that clarity of, hey, this is just the beginning. I mean, I'm out of this deep hole. Think about, you're in a deep hole. I get you out of that hole. Now the goalpost is way at the other end. So it's just the beginning of your wellness program. And it's being like knowing that this isn't a quick fix. We might get you better and feeling good pretty quick, but it's an ongoing lifetime program. And when my clients, the people who get that, are successful, they do great. I not only help them with their health, I help them with their career, with their relationship, because we can muscle test what's working for them, what job they're in, if that's working for them, when they want to change a job, if that's the direction to go. If you're buying a house, is that the right house? Everything, your body has all the answers, and I have the ability to tap into your body and find out those answers. But the biggest thing I emphasize to people is this is not a quick fix. When you start to feel better, it's the beginning of your journey. And it can be exciting and fun and just changing every part of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember a question that was asked to me. I can't remember when, but it was back in 2004 when I got really the mystery disease thing. And I can't remember who asked me the question, but I was kind of like, I went in for a visit and then I'm like, oh, we done, right? That's the model we're used to.
Yeah.
And the question that was asked to me is, there's certain things going on. How long do you think it took for your body to react to the things you've done in the past? And I just thought, and I said, oh, are you kidding? Like starting at age 9. And, then I was crazy. So I went through this big elaborate answer. And then they looked at me and said, and you think that what you just described is going to go away in one visit, right? And I didn't answer, because what I realized is you don't wake up and get like this or get like I was in 2004 overnight. It's an accumulation. And so what you're doing, and please explain the process. You're pinpointing the most number one priority thing to do first. And people don't know that, right?
Exactly. Your body has all the answers. And when I do the muscle testing, which is very accurate, your body tells me the number 1, number 2, number 3 priority at that time. And that's all we deal. It doesn't matter what you come in and tell me. It could be far from what I pick up on you in your mind, but that's the foundation. That's where we start. And then I always follow the body. I never do what I would assume you need. It's much easier following the body. When I follow the body will get better in exact order and continue to build on that. So it's easy to take care of people. It's like when you go to a doctor, the doctor will treat you for your cold. The doctor will treat you for your injury. And then when you're better, you're turned loose. He'll treat you for asthma, pneumonia, all those things. What I do is find out why did you get that?
Yeah.
Why do you have asthma? What's the problem? And why do you keep getting sick? And it's not that if you keep having gallbladder issues, you don't have to have your gallbladder out. As a matter of fact, when you have your gallbladder out, you have as many issues or more than you had before, because now it's harder to deal with. You don't have a gallbladder. So it's about if we look at where you're coming from and what's underneath all these issues, then you can really get well and then your body heals.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Mary Jane is going to share, I want to call them miraculous stories. When we come back, she's going to give you several examples, including how she works with your animal friends. So I want y'all to be very clear. It's not just about humans. You know, your dogs or your animal friends, they are so near and dear to you. And Mary Jane has treated remarkably, almost impossible. And I can't help remembering her horse. Let's take a really short break, Benny. When we come back, Mary Jane's going to tell you how this works in the results she's seen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right. All clear.
I had to find a way to get my health back. I felt that Western medicine had failed me. I had no choice but to figure it out on my own.
We're in the midst of an accelerated collective unraveling.
We have outgrown the paradigm that we were in.
We are living in unprecedented times. We're seeing changes on levels that have never really been seen before.
Modern medicine today, in my opinion, does not treat the whole.
It wasn't until after sound and light therapy sessions that my severe cardiovascular stress was completely eliminated.
We are all one.
We don't evolve alone.
Love is that which unifies.
The future is created out of the decisions that we're making right here and right now.
There are many roads to healing, and the more choices we have, the easier it is to manage our own well-being.
Watch this documentary free today at itstime.love.
Are you seeking spiritual growth, healing, and deeper understanding? Sharon Kumara is a healing practitioner and metaphysical teacher, guiding others through their spiritual journeys, helping them to connect on a deeper level. She calls on all seekers, healers, and souls yearning for truth to join in creating a more compassionate, awakened world. To learn more of what she offers and to experience the value of her teachings, visit kumaraacademy.com.
Y'all ready to come back? All right. Stand by.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's great to have you here on the Dr. Pat Show. My very special esteemed guest is Mary Jane Mack. If you want to find out more about anything or everything we're talking about, go to maryjanemack.com. Today, we're talking about consistency, and we've talked about the many possibilities, but let's tell people how people have really transformed. And if we have time later, it's not just for people. You work with animals as well. So when you think back, what comes to the top of your list of people that almost thought, I'm never going to get better, and where are they today?
Oh, there's so many of those. But people with anxiety, for example, and they just can't, it comes on suddenly and they just can't exist anymore. It's hard for them to be with people. They're nervous, they're jittery. So when they come in, we figure out exactly where that's coming from. And often it's an emotion from the past that they've stored and is now stirred up. And often it affects their heart. And I see a lot of anxiety is foundation is in the heart. So what I do is a technique called neuroemotional technique. I clear the emotion, and then we put them on nutrition or use technology, whatever it calls for at the time, to calm down the vagus nerve. Because when the vagus nerve is stimulated, that's fight or flight, then the body cannot heal. So every condition out there is about calming down the vagus nerve. And so when I put her on nutrition, we used the Resumex, did a cranial release on her, and in each week, she was calmer and calmer. But she bought a Resumex, used it every day, and did the stim pod. Now you could do a vagal stimulation, which calms down the vagus nerve, and that's a 10-minute treatment. She loves that treatment. And so her life changed dramatically because she now doesn't have that anxiety.
Yeah.
People who are chronically ill, they can't. Well, another good example is a gal that I have right now. She's a young gal. She's been coming now for about 8 weeks, twice a week, for intensive care, doing the Wellness Pro. The doctor, she had every test possible. A young gal, fatigue, can't do anything, can't take care of her kids. She's had bone marrow, she's had CAT scans, MRIs, you name it, everything. Doctors can't find out what's wrong with her all this time. So her mother-in-law is a client of mine, so she asked me about her, and I told her to come in. She did. That was 8 weeks ago, and now she is just gradually better and better, and every test she has is negative. And she is finally getting so much better, and I encourage her to exercise. She couldn't even exercise. Couldn't even walk. Now she's walking, feels good. The mom her mom sent us a note thanking us for helping her when no other doctor could help her. All they could do is test. And now she's got life back. It's exciting to see somebody like that no one has helped. We have people who come for gallbladder and bile ducts backed up, which backs up their whole system. They might have asthma, they might have other conditions, but when you have a gallbladder and a bile duct condition, everything else, say you have stones in there, which is very common, everything else is a 2. So they're extremely tired, they have joint pain, they ache all the time, they have no energy, no enthusiasm, and have all kinds of other symptoms. So they might have difficult breathing, stomach problems. So when you take care of the gallbladder and the bile duct, all those other things usually get better, and there's very little to fine tune after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what's fun, but it's fine tuning it and keep getting them on a program, being consistent, to follow through, to keep testing to see if there's anything else. It's that same thing, the priorities, what the body shows up and what the body can handle. The body will never say what it cannot do, or I can never do anything that would hurt anybody because the body would tell me.
Yeah. I was at a tournament, not last weekend, the weekend before, but I was at a tournament, and it's our annual tournament, and I bring the Resumex. And so when I bring the Resumex and pull it out, everybody kind of laughs and like that, But what I find is on my team, I have several men. We're men and women on our team. And 2 of the guys, one of them was so fascinated by the Resumex because he lives in chronic pain. And so we're going to be sending him some information. But the other person, who I won't name, was the most not critical, but jokingly about it until he used it on his very sore knee.
Yeah.
And to watch him, Linda helped him with it because I was playing. To watch what happened to him in using it, he stopped laughing and wanted to know how to get one. Now, I'm not saying everybody is going to get that kind of result, but when you're in the middle of 2 days of nonstop playing, whatever that is you're doing, it could be a sport, it doesn't matter. Maybe you shopped for 2 days. But what I saw in him, it was fascinating. And I wish Linda were on the call because she could better explain it. But by the end of the day, they're like, where do we get it? Where do we get it? And so I'm going to be following up with both of them to get a hold of you. Now, why is that? It works. That's why.
The Resumex is a vibrational technology. It was designed after the purr of a cat. And it was designed by Sherrick Peck in Utah. It's an amazing tool. And most of my clients have one because if they have a Resumex and they call me, I can walk them through just about anything. It's good for any kind of pain, getting the body back to function, migraine headaches, Bell's palsy, any dental work, any problems in your mouth, your body get it. And again, it calms down the vagus nerve. It's working specifically on certain type areas of the body when you're using it. And you have phenomenal results because what it's doing is connecting your body to your brain. And that's what the technology I use does. It changes your brain, then your brain it can help your body get back to normal function. The Resumex, I met Sherrick, I think maybe 5 years ago now, and it was fairly new at that time. Now it's in over 92 countries. It's used by all the top neurologists in the country. And what they do with that is, besides their own intense therapy, once they added the Resumex and they actually strap them on arms and legs, they get people walking. So if you have an injury, another thing is when people have injuries or trauma and they come in, Gal fell, she had shoulder pain, her knee was swollen, she came in on crutches, and we did the Wellness Pro and the Stim Pod on her. She walked out without not using the crutches, but she had 4 more treatments and she was totally back to running again.
Yeah.
So technology is where it's at. That's why I use this great technology. Nutrition works, but it takes longer.
Yeah.
And so with technology, like everything else, people want to feel better faster. And people keep repeating the same problems. And that's because their body is used to it. Gallbladder, bile duct, same thing. Why do I keep getting the same thing? I said, because your brain is trained so well, you keep going back to it. You have to change the brain in order to change the body.
Yeah. I was talking to my friend Ming, and he saw me working on my neck because I've had this shoulder literally reworked, retaped, restitched, whatever you do with shoulders. And so I started to have problems with it because I'm using it a lot. And the bottom line is he saw me with it. And he came over to me and he said, I got this pain right here. You know where you work on me, that part right back here,
it's a
that
trigger
thing.
point.
He had the same thing. And so he said, can you put it and press hard? Now, normally I wouldn't have done that unless I did it with you. I did it for him. I didn't want to do it anymore because he just would have me put that thing right through his body. But I did it for him, and maybe 2 minutes. And then I went away, and I never heard about him shoulder hurting for the rest of the day.
Yeah. It's great. It's great for any kind of trigger points. It's great for neuropathy. And we also have a Stim Pod for neuropathy. Incontinent bladders in women, we can take care of that very easily using the Stim Pod. And we combine sometimes the Wellness Pro with the Stim Pod, but the Stim Pod does miracles in 1 to 2 treatments. One
Yeah.
or two treatments. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Explain what that is for people who don't know, because I know what it is.
Yeah, the StimPod is technology that it has a probe, and what you do is if someone has pain or sciatic pain, you can treat that sciatic pain, which I did yesterday to a gal who came in, a regular client. She said, "Oh, I've got the sciatic pain." So I used the StimPod, tracked the vagus nerve, and used it on the ankle. You can hit any part of the vagus nerve, and you put it on there for 3 to 5 minutes. And what it does is disrupts the function of that nerve so it can stop the pain, and now the nerve will heal and you won't have the pain. And you can do that in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it helps you find where the nerve is. You can feel it, and then you just use it for a certain time to disrupt that nerve.
Mhm.
And that's pretty amazing with people who are in chronic pain to be able to do that, but especially incontinent bladders. That's pretty easy to take care of.
Yeah, when this gentleman told me that he gets up every day, I would never have thought that. He looks great. He does ballroom with his wife. He's top player. And when he told me that every day when he gets up, or maybe his wife told me every day he gets up, he's in excruciating pain. I thought, when they get back, I'm really going to talk to him about coming to see you, because we don't have to live in that much pain, do we?
No, and you get used to it. And it's that inflammation that causes chronic disease.
Yeah.
So, and it's like all these things I'm talking about, professional athletes use them all the time.
Right.
Hockey players, football players. And we use Brain Tap. That's
Brain Tap. Thank you.
But that professional athletes use all these techniques all the time. And that's why the better ones stay, at least the better teams I do know that use it, stay at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you don't, when you use them, you don't have jet lag like the Brain Tap.
Wow. I want to talk about another athlete. I want to talk about the average family member, because we don't give, for me, I don't give moms enough credit. You are, Mom, a professional athlete. You really are. Probably more so than anybody we're going to talk about today. And I want to really reach out to all of you, whether you're a mom or not. I want to reach out to you to say, it's now time for you to treat yourself to what you need, and really stop diminishing the role you have in life, because there's nothing, in my opinion, more stressful than running a family. It is such responsibility. But the question is, where do you go for help? Where do they go, Mary Jane?
Well, they're so busy taking care of their kids and their husband and everybody else. And when people call like that, and they want to take care of other people, their sister, their mother, I say, you got to take care of yourself first. And if you're not well, they won't be well. And you can't take care of anybody else if you're not a perfect 10. So and they don't even realize where they're at. They get so used to how tired they are. They're fatigued. They run around all day long. They never really focus on anything but everybody else. Don't take time. And when they stop and think about that and take time for themselves and get on track to feel better, it's amazing the results they have. Then everybody in the family benefits.
Yeah. And I can tell you, I know this, having missed my nutrition last week due to my own inability to be consistent. And then I started it this week. It was a whole new day. And you're probably thinking, really, Pat, that's probably psychological. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Because Mary Jane takes a look at what's going on in my brain. She scores it and she says, this is what you need 3 times a day or whatever it is. And what happens is you stop thinking about it. You stop feeling that way. It's so subtle that you don't even realize that you need to be consistent, even if you're not feeling the pain. Mary Jane, thank you for today. Last question. What's your personal message? What do you want to leave us with, especially going into this 4th of July with your little doggies?
4th of July, just be excited about life and be safe this weekend, but be excited and don't hesitate any longer to take that first step for yourself or your family members. So when you look around, there's always someone who could use some help. And just share this video, share my information, and tell people they don't have to be in that state. They could be much better, be excited, be healthy, and have energy.
Mary Jane, thank you for today. What's your personal message? Tell us what you'd like to leave us with.
Be consistent. Consistency gets results. Inconsistency is you're off guard and no results.
And remember what I said to all of you. We're living now in a time where what we're talking about, MaryJaneMack.com. What's your phone number, Mary Jane?
392-0659. And it's info@MaryJaneMack.
Yeah. But if you call, you get to talk to the Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy will take you.
Yep. Ask about the resume. Ask whatever you want. Even Mary Jane and Nancy will answer your question regardless of whether you come to do work with them. Why? Because that's Mary Jane's mission.
Yeah.
That's what
and
they
we
do.
will fine tune you to, we'll recommend whatever you need, whatever your body needs. So you don't even have to guess at it. It's pretty clear when you come in.
All right. You all have yourself a great weekend. Thank you, Mary Jane, for everything.
Happy 4th.
And thank you to Emily, Nancy, and Linda, because it does take a village sometimes to get me to get here frequently and on time. We'll see you next time.
All right. All clear, ladies.
Thank you. Mary Jane,